that should be everything. Should be good to go.
Oh, how'd you do that?
Mate, I was just writing so fast that it just broke my arm.
Writing so fast? Are you sure it was writing?
Yeah, mate. The quill, obviously.
Oh,
Come
on. Okay.
It's just the price of being genius.
My name is Lorenzo Herrera.
And I'm Roberto Mann.
I'm Aaron Pearson.
And I'm Jess Dawes.
This is the making of The
Chapter.
How far can you really stretch a story, and put someone on the edge of expectation? Like, that's the best thing about writing film. You get to play with that part of people's attention, its expectations. Play with them.
I don't know. I want to grab the mic and just be like, Lorenzo is like, Rob, I actually want you to play Edward here. I still don't fully understand why you wrote this character. How did the whole sort of story come about? Because I could never write a story, knowing that it needs to be so perfect. I would never start.
So it has to hit those points. So my process of these characters was hitting those stereotypical points. What are the types of people that we laugh at the most? And then just really kind of push that barrier of their mannerisms and just go 400% on what they're known for. So Maximus being, Maximus and his masculinity.
But maybe I'm the beast.
It's just how can we push that even further? Just make that a trope in itself. Just make them, lovable, or make them greedy, or make them a priest.
It's so hard to get comedy right. So hard. You can be an amazing comedic actress or actor and still not get it right and not get those kind of moments. But then if you don't have a script that kind of allows you to play with it and do the things that you did with writing it, it's down to the writing first and foremost. There's only so much that actors can do. So the fact that you were able to write something that on first read was a nightmare to try and comprehend and imagine, but when it came into actually performing it, it made so much sense. It's oh shit, that's really funny, okay, or maybe we could add this as well. But yeah, that's all down to the writing. So well done on that. It was awesome script. Really
Yeah, I thought the script was brilliant. Really loved it.
It took a couple of rewrite sessions at 5 a.m. in the morning. I was like, this needs to be tweaked ever so slightly. It doesn't hit that spot for me. I'm it needs to be like this. And then Lorenzo's like, oh, you've changed my work.
Yeah. So the story goes so obviously I'm doing this for uni, and I'm like, fuck, I need to come up with a story. It needs to involve locations, characters, all this kind of stress. And this is again challenging my leadership, my creativity skills and things like that. But I come home one day and I'm just like, Rob, what do you think of this idea? Girl gets trapped in a book world. What do you think of that idea? And he's there eating his bolognese, and he's like, yeah, man, that's great, yeah, good on you. And I'm just like, okay, back to the office. Okay, I'm rewriting, and coming up with I think I had originally come up with the first 3 parts of the film up until the Zeldaron in the woods scene. Okay. That's where I was up to before I got Rob involved. Right. And getting someone involved in writing the script and having that second set of eyes on it is just the best way of really perfecting anything. And that can be applied to anything, any kind of feedback that you can get from other people. Yes. It's just so worth it, especially when you agree with it and it's that's just made my idea 10 times better. Yeah, infinite times better. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Lorenzo. I also one of my favourite scenes are the ones where we was kind of getting to the point where we were writing as the shoot was progressing. Was okay, the next shoot day's in the woods next week. We haven't actually finalised the script for then. So there were times where you and I were pacing around the room trying to think. We were writing together. We were spitballing ideas.
We were doing face-offs. We would just be okay, I'll go into that room and you go into that room, and whoever comes up with the better idea is the part. And it's just and we would just come up with these especially for the Zeldaron thing. It's we've got this scene. Okay, so Zeldaron gets the pen. They're now plotting. They're plotting for Edward's death. And I think one of the ideas was to eventually go and follow through with that plotting of the thing, and he just dies that way. But no, we thought, no, plot twist. What if he just wants mushrooms and he goes home?
Yes, subvert expectations. Yes.
We inevitably come up with the idea of just playing the roles ourselves. Not on to Monty Python, with them playing their own characters, but we just thought it was the right thing to do, and it's the only thing we could do. Being a priest and a wizard on the same couple of weeks was it's a bit of a challenge.
Borderline schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick time method acting.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing, you have to make these kind of sacrifices if you're willing to, you know, fill out a casting sheet.
Jess was very, very patient with us. She's the only like professionally cast actor out of everyone here, and I was just lucky enough to know Aaron as a friend that he would be perfect for this role. I begged him, and I was like, you have to do this. I don't care if you've got work. We'll end the shoot day early so you can make it. You're so the one. So a massive thanks to you, Aaron, for making time to be part of this project.
Thank you.
And
No, I loved it.
yeah, absolutely natural. So things are easier when you're good at them. So
Yeah. The killing the dragon was the most difficult bit, and then after that it was all right.
yeah.
At least that happened off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that bitch up.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as a theatrical actress, you know, comparing, you know, your work, what you usually do, compared to, you know, a comedy film, what differences did you find?
Obviously, most of the filming I've done has been part of studying, so it's nice to actually be on a set and be performing as opposed to like the last one I did. I was clapperboard and script supervisor. Yeah, being in front of the camera, it's having a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And rolling with the punches. Like if something happens, you've got to, as an actor, be quite patient with that.
Oh, there was a lot of patience here working with us. Yeah, definitely.
What was the learning curve as well for all of us?
Yeah.
Because like debut,
Oh yeah.
doing it for your BA, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then coming in doing something properly outside of studying, which was
Well,
like, all of us, like we all took a lesson from it in some way, shape, or form. Like especially from that first day when we filmed.
oh yeah. So the first day, you know, on set, Aaron, unfortunately, you weren't there.
I was,
but
I was there in spirit though.
I mean, it. Anyway, because it was a BA course that I was doing for university, it was my final major project. But you know, having my tutor, you know, support me through, you know, what I was learning, and you know, being the first film I directed, it challenged my leadership skills massively. It also challenged my time management skills as well. Because I remember the first day, we had to, you know, get you, you know, in a princess outfit. And done up with curls and everything, and
Also we're in the studio, so we had the time constraint of like being in an actual venue as opposed to out on location.
Yeah, we had to be gone at a certain time. I've got like, you know, my tutor, you know, sitting there like this. He's like, you know, give me the dirty look, like.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, he's checking his time, like, you know, I've got to be out. I was like, no, so close.
Yeah, I knew that we didn't have everything planned from the moment we stepped into the studio the first day when like one of your tutors is like, okay, so how many setups have you got? And I'm like, what are setups? And it come to like the end of the recording session. It's like you've got an hour before you need to pack down and get out of here, and we're looking at the shot list, and we've got the other half of the day yet to do, and we still need to transform our actress into a princess, different costume, makeup, hair, and get all the acting done.
So it's the makeup team, they were there not only as makeup, but they also were helping out on costume. But at the times where they were not needed, you know, for that specific shoot, they had to wait until we had filmed everything, until the last second when we had that transformation scene. And so, you know, they're just waiting in another room, like super bored out of their brains.
Props to them though, because they were so on it when they needed to be, and like when you have that kind of space in between shots and when you're doing something like even in theatre, like it's so hard to keep your attention and be ready to go at the last second. And considering they're BTEC students as well, like go team, they were amazing.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with them, they were awesome.
Fun story about
Lovely girls as well.
how we sourced the makeup department. I was actually a month early to like an interview in town, and I was like, oh, it's like you're on time, but you're a whole month early. I was like, well, I'm in town, I might as well
That
get
is
something to eat.
amazing that you did that.
Yeah. So
didn't know
I was like, I'm gonna go into the new Taco Bell, and I just saw a couple of like the college girls with the college lanyard on, with very straightened hair and eyelashes. Like they do hair and makeup, don't they? I'm like, any chance you want to work in a student film we're working on? They're like, yeah. Cool. Right, let's do it. Let's go. Like the stars aligned. I was meant to be a month early to that interview. I was meant to go into Taco Bell, and
Yes, you were.
and they were meant to save the day on that.
The planets
shoot.
aligned.
Yeah.
The planets did align.
And also save us from doing our own hair and makeup. Which
Oh, that would yeah.
that would have just added even more stress to it.
Did you remember to go to the interview a month later though?
I did.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
And wasn't. Yeah.
Well, so just
3 lamps.
wow, yeah. So just having like these kind of fun people to work with, but also dedicated people like yourselves to help make the process so much more smoother than it ever needed to
Absolute
be.
honour, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Absolute
Yeah.
honour.
As a theatrical actress, comparing your work, what you usually do, compared to a comedy film, what differences did you find?
Obviously, most of the filming I've done has been part of studying, so it's nice to actually be on a set and be performing as opposed to like the last one I did. I was clapperboard and script supervisor. Yeah, being in front of the camera, it's having a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And rolling with the punches. Like if something happens, you've got to, as an actor, be quite patient with that.
Oh, there was a lot of patience here working with us. Yeah, definitely.
What was the learning curve as well for all of us?
Yeah.
Because like debut,
Oh yeah,
doing it for your BA, was it?
yeah.
Yeah, and then coming in doing something properly outside of studying, which was
Well,
like, all of us, like we all took a lesson from it in some way, shape or form, like especially from that first day when we filmed.
yeah, we were really inspired by a lot of different types of media. Growing up, watching Shrek, the whole series, it's just very inspirational. But
Shrek the series.
no, like the series of films.
Yeah, yeah.
The international franchise.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
must correct.
Yeah.
The religion. Yeah, it was just funny, and I think when they were writing Shrek, they just thought just some characters here. They were playing stereotypes, just having fun, fairy tales. Like they literally made a fairy tale within the universe of fairy tale.
Yeah,
That was
we kind of like paraphrase that, don't we? It was like, castles and dragons, that's what people want. It's kind of what Shrek is. The people want and know, like Robin Hood and the princess and the dragon. And it's just like, what can we do? What's new? How can we reinvent the stories of the characters and fables that people cherish from childhood? Twist them up in something a little
Twist
bit.
them up in Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
how you do it.
I felt like it brought Shrek and Inception together.
I also dwindled with the idea of like a dystopian community of just people that don't know that they're in a loop of just everyday life, and part of that was entwined with the characters and a bit of an inspiration. Like the chapter was meant to be a lot more deeper than it really was. That was kind of the starting point, was how can I play with film and philosophy and bring it to that fun medium. And that was a good starting point, because it meant that I were able to just involve all of these cool aspects of what is the meaning of life. and as deep as that might sound, and is, that got me going on the writing of the chapter. Camera B rolling. We worked at a very cold time of the year.
What time of year was that? March?
I'm gonna need to like get a big tub of like hot chocolate for people. Just wheel it in on a barrow.
Just a wheelbarrow of hot chocolate.
Yeah, just jump on in. Working with new people, we're working with friends, so it's just ultimately bringing everyone together. We chose this location because of its iconicness. There's a castle.
Internationally recognised as one of the most beautiful castles in the world.
Basically views the whole part of South Essex. It's recognisable. It's an icon. So we thought.
And it's free. We couldn't afford a castle.
It was free.
Don't say that, Robbie. We'll cut that bit out.
But we all met on the shoot day at McDonald's, so we got cheeky Mackies.
That did give us the fuel to get going.
It did. But the weather, though, the weather here was insane.
It's an intense day for me. I don't remember much about the weather. I remember fog, actually. I do remember a lot of fog. Yeah, and a lot of fog.
We witnessed everything on that day. I mean, think of every weather condition, situation. We were given it. We were given cold. We were given warmth.
Oh yeah, it was super cold.
I remember. Some of the crew had a jacket for our actress Jess while she was saying her lines, and because she was wearing a dress and it was only revealing her shoulders, how cold that must have been. So having someone on set to just, you know, be there to be like, okay, here you go. Literally, the point that we were not filming, we were covered up. We were sipping coffees, trying to warm up as much as we could.
I had to give one of my gloves to the makeup department, and I could just about press the shutter button to record.
That's why we got the, you know, the shakiness.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. yeah. I'm like,
I think some of the off-script moments, especially for a lot of the filming of the chapter, actually made the cut. A lot of them. You know, even when you're ad-libbing, it just makes it more human, just fun. And when you're glitching and you're going like, I am the saviour! And then you're like throwing in some other line and it just works.
Malfunction.
You put in there, it was, what was it? It was, happy ending, not working.
Yeah.
I just like, that was not scripted, but we got it in there because it was funny. Oh, when people are professional actors, they're so serious on like making sure they're hitting all the script moments. As a novice to acting, I think it was so brave of you to jump outside of that.
Are you basically saying that as a novice actor, I've exceeded professional actors?
Well,
I'm winning an Oscar next, I think, at least.
next shoot location, boys.
Join us. So, like Zeldaron, I've got my legs out.
It was so cold, and I was like, Lorenzo, mate, you need a coat. So I'd just whip a coat over him.
And Jess, you came along very well with these warm hand pads.
Hand warmers, yes.
Yes.
They were. I didn't plan that. They were in my car.
I was like, this is an emergency. It is so cold. I'm putting them in my shoes.
Yeah, I did.
I put them on my armpits.
But where were they on the Hadley Castle shoot? You know?
In the car.
They were in my car, up the road in the car park.
God.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that call sheet, eh?
You.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Lorenzo's organisational skills. No, producing. Yeah, we needed the call sheets. That's how official we were with this, you know. Everyone got a piece of paper that said, hey you, it's got your name on it. This is where you want to be and at what time. Here's a map, here are details. Very organised, Lorenzo. You know.
Generally, that's what you want to do for most like shoots. It shows that level of professionalism, or at least some level of organising.
And it makes sure everyone's on the same page as well, quite literally, because it's on a page.
We shot one day at church.
Yes. Location for the wedding of Sir Maximus and Princess Arabelle was shot at St Mark's Church in Southend. We thought, right, we've already started shooting, we need a church. Luckily enough, I knew someone who knew someone. So,
Really?
yeah.
Who knew someone else?
Well, a couple months earlier, I so happened to be filming a music event. After I filmed Izzy's amazing gig, I just spoke to the promoters, and they said, right, you need to DM Mother Cherry, here's her Facebook. And she said, you can absolutely have it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to make a donation to the church, thank you so much. I told Aaron about this, and it's like, what a small world it is, what coincidence that if I didn't go film your girlfriend's live music gig, then we wouldn't have a wedding scene.
It felt awesome because no one was there watching us or supervising, so there was this level of respect that we had for them. Facilities, we had a kitchen, a toilet,
And a wide range of outfits and fancy dress costumes that we did to take advantage of.
Yes. So we was lucky to turn up at the church and then see on the top row just rails and rails and rails of costume. Apparently it's because the local acting college had a show on, and that's where they were keeping the clothes for a short period of time.
While we're going through the script and the storyboard, like, okay, what camera angle do we need, all the technical stuff, we're getting, everyone else to just try weird things out. We even got the makeup crew involved, and a top hat will do.
Yeah, I think I looked like one of those game masters, like an old tavern in like the 1600s. Yeah. They play the card games and you're always going to lose. They had this funky top hat, like weird glass goggles or something like that. I think I had about 5 different time periods in one outfit.
I remember when we first started shooting, and this goes to all filmmakers, always have a spare, and we did not have a spare.
Yeah, we
So-
didn't have a spare, what, Lorenzo?
SD card.
What have you done?
The SD card literally broke. It had like snapped in half, and that was everything we needed to film on for the day. So, called up the cab, got home, picked up another 2 SD cards, had to empty them out as well before I got there, and then put them in, pick up, super glue and some scissors to help out with whatever else needed to be done with makeup, pre-production, eyelashes.
The
Gorilla
lashes
Glue
weren't,
on.
they weren't super glued to my face. I broke my nail, so I fixed it with the super glue, the scissors with the lashes. Just before people think that I had super glue put on my face.
Always have a spare.
It was a much more relaxed day than being outside because we had the shelter.
The elements, yeah.
Yeah, we weren't dealing with stuff like the cold or the wind or the fog or.
Speaking of which, this is actually where I put makeup to our actors right here on these steps. I think we just sat down these rocks and makeup artists had their briefs and got to work. A bit of blood, a bit of roughness. I was saying maybe put some dirt on Aaron's face, and they're like, maybe not actual dirt.
How do we make dirt?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it looked like you'd been in a fight with the dragons.
Yeah, exactly, like a little puff of smoke on my face before I chopped his head off.
To be fair, that was the great thing about the makeup girls. They were so willing to be creative and have that open mind to just kind of, if something didn't work, then they'd take on that kind of constructive criticism and change it on the fly. But then also having, like, being told what they needed to do on the day, and it's just going for it and using their own imaginations and skills to kind of pull off what was wanted. Because obviously you guys, I know you said at the time that you have no idea about makeup, but the fact that you could explain the kind of thing you wanted and they kind of pulled it off, and it was better than you could have imagined.
Here we are in front of Hadley Castle for another location change, where we're going to be talking about another change, costume change. Lorenzo, take it away.
Costumes, we got the most out of the priest outfit, not just for its price, but for its usability.
Insert clips of all the uses of Lorenzo's priest outfit being used here. Haha! Oh, isn't that good?
It's like the slap scene again.
Insert slap scene where I couldn't stop laughing. I had to put like leaves in my mouth to stop eating. I was just like, anything to stop me laughing and ruining the take here. Super funny. Yeah.
He was annoying me so much that I actually slapped him.
Yeah. He's like, my face was red at that point. He's literally gone, alright, shut up, you tart. Aaron, a word on stepping into character with the costume?
Yeah, I think I discovered a new aspect of myself within Max. I let him out of the box for a bit, and then when he played his part, I put him back in the box and closed him. But I haven't completely put the padlock on it. I've left the combination lying around, so he can come out whenever he wants. Some would say mild schizophrenia. I would just say enjoying the acting.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Excellent. I wouldn't say it's even acting. I'd say it's playing. I feel like you're playing a role.
Yeah.
It's play. It's fun.
Once I put those clothes on, I become that character. I'm not myself then.
Amazing how Lorenzo managed to put all of this magic in at the edit.
Wow.
So none of this cold that you see or feel at the time of acting is translated onto screen.
Yeah.
All this world building. It's another beautiful part of making films.
It's quite summery, if anything.
Yeah.
It was quite summery, like points when like the sun was shining, it's not.
Especially walking across this field, like that shot, there's a lot of sun, wasn't there?
Yeah,
From
it's just
memory.
obviously that's just like that's being on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel that, but you definitely feel the emotion that's put into these characters. Very fortunate that we had those moments where the performance was on key. The thing is, when you're filming anything, there's so many things to account for. Like this has got to be perfect, or the weather's, or the sound that's got to be on perfect. Got to make sure everything's recorded, fully charged. Enough memory. People are being well fed and cared for. It's all of these different elements, especially in a low budget movie. The stakes are high. Time is just money flowing out. Like that. How did you find performing weeks after we had filmed? How did you get back into character?
Good question, Lorenzo. How did I get back into character after weeks of filming? After my hair had grown like this much longer. So it was very simple. Pop up green screen. Look at the footage.
You genuinely believe I was going to do that?
So I knew what eye lines I had to make with Mary's. Studio lights.
What have you done?
And Lorenzo here helping me read my lines.
I'm sure it would have been a bestseller, but it would have been a bestseller if you didn't completely mess it up!
This role was actually kind of easy to play in this part because I didn't really have to rehearse much. Sure, I wrote my own lines and I should have really remembered them, but it was more or less a case of, okay, read me the line, I repeat the line with emotion 10-15 times. Boom, you can cut stuff up.
Hey, movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic.
There was a
is what
lot of
saved
movie
us.
magic.
There's
Yeah.
movie magic.
It's still good to know your lines in some capacity.
Oh,
though. Don't
yeah.
Are you a real
like,
performer if you
Yeah.
don't know your
know
lines?
nothing.
No.
Yeah, no, honestly, once you've internalized the lines, then you can be free and have fun with the characters and the mannerisms and the blocking and the eye contacts and the micro emotions in the face whilst you're filming. You're not thinking in the back of your head what is your next line,
because that's just going to stifle the authenticity of it.
And that's what we've done through, you know, a lot of tests and practice shoots that we done, you know, days before we got anything done. But yeah, we did a Edward revenge plot scene where Edward's like pacing up and down. He's going through like, you know, his angry mode of like, oh, when I get my hands on that pen, history will be made.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed that, you know, on Snapchat, just using, you know, the simple cut function.
Yeah, just with a phone you can block out and storyboard all the parts you want in your film way ahead of time.
You've never seen one of these.
Yeah. Going back to characters that you love, we thought of like Shrek, but with this sort of like antagonist character, I thought of like Gilderoy Lockhart a little bit from Chamber of Secrets. He thinks he's this sort of charming, suave author, but really he's a con man. He's good for nothing. What I like about the chapter as a story, I think these characters are everywhere, not just in fiction, but in real life. These characters do need to have a realisation and come to some betterment.
But that's also what works so well with like Edward the priest and Maximus, like the fact that they're such high extremes, like high stakes, archetypal characters, stereotypical of their kind of fairy tale genre. To then have that kind of juxtaposition of Mary, who's so almost real life and from this world, like with the sarcasm thrown in as well. It made that nice kind of balance between real world and fantasy kind of
Very
come
well
together.
said.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Jess, you brought Mary to life in this way that was exactly as you described. It fit the intention of the writing of these characters together to fulfill what I was trying to develop was like the philosophical stakes of freedom and against these, you know, antagonistic people in society.
And that's a writing, you know, sort of suggestion. If you're writing a book or if you're writing an article or whatever you're writing, you know, make it relatable to the people, because we all know these people. We know an Edward that exists around us. We do.
I've not seen him recently, but
but like, just make it like fun, and just, you know, don't make it too serious. Never be too serious, especially when you're doing comedy. Do not be serious.
Go bigger, so you can always come back. You can always draw it back. But if you go bigger with either performing or the writing, it's so much easier to bring it in than it is to push it out and make it more.
Yeah, and that just goes with a lot of script writers. You know, just have fun with your profession and your creative fluids.
Roasted, wasn't it?
Yeah, roasted tomatoes.
Roasted tomatoes.
Best type of
really
like
soft
and squidgy. You know,
very messy.
And the fun thing as well, in the GoPro behind the scenes footage, we've got like of one of our sound guys throwing tomatoes at you. He's actually like squeezing his thumb into it, like really kind of like gruesome, just like preempted squeeze, and then just pelting.